Alrighty. If you haven't been paying attention the last couple of days, you need to wake up because the entire Elon universe just got rearranged. SpaceX has officially acquired XAI, Elon's AI company, all in basically one all stock deal. And the combined entity now is valued at $1.25 trillion. That's the biggest merger literally of all time. And as of today, someone just reserved the ticker symbol X on the New York Stock Exchange, ticker symbol X, that is. So SpaceX, XAI, and the X platform all under one symbol, essentially. This is happening. But Tesla stock, it's down about 7% on the week. And everyone on Twitter is essentially freaking out. Bears are saying Elon's abandoning Tesla. The bulls are saying this is 4D chess. And here's the thing. I think both sides are missing the bigger picture because there is something that nobody's connecting that I think is huge for Tesla investors. And that actually goes back to a tweet that I sent Elon a while back that he actually replied to. And I'll get into that. But first, let's also talk about what's actually going on in the stock market right now, because Tesla being down is not just like the SpaceX thing. There is some serious macro uncertainty with Iran and the US that is weighing on everything. So let's break it all down. By the way, if you're interested in this kind of deep dive content on Tesla, hit subscribe. I break this stuff down every single week, maybe multiple times a week, and I promise you're not getting this angle anywhere else. Okay, let's get into it. So the Cole's on essentially what has happened so far. On February 2nd, SpaceX officially acquired XAI. All stock, full transaction, no cash, right? SpaceX was actually valued about $1 trillion. XAI was at 250 billion. So combined entity 1.25. For context, that's almost as big as Tesla's market cap right now at 1.4 trillion. Insane. And Elon posted on X to the stars and, everything's all in one. In a blog post, he actually said the merger would create, and I'm paraphrasing, the most ambitious vertically integrated innovation engine on and off the earth. Obviously, very much Elon speak right there. So the stated reason for the merger is that space-based data centers, Elon's argument, is that terrestrial AI data centers are hitting energy and cooling constraints. And his only solution is to put them in orbit. And he actually tweeted this today. Solar powered. He believes that it's always sunny in space. And obviously, I know it sounds insane, but SpaceX is already filled, right, with the FCC. It's already filed with the FCC at this point for up to 1 million satellites designed to operate on these nodes. So whether you think it's visionary or sci-fi, I mean, that is the pitch at the moment. So combined, the company is reportedly targeting an IPO later this year, possibly as early as June, to be honest, and looking to raise about $50 billion, right? So valuation up to 1.5 trillion. Like I said at the top, the X ticker that just now is breaking at someone reserved is not a coincidence. Someone is positioning for this IPO, and I think what that means long term is that if SpaceX XAI go public under this X and eventually absorb Tesla, you're not just buying Tesla stock anymore. You're literally buying X, the everything company that Elon's pitched. That's a massive shift in how I think you should be thinking about your Tesla investment right now. And here's the thing that matters, to be honest, that average investors like you and I, Tesla has invested $2 billion into XAI right now in a funding round, I think in January. So Tesla shareholders, technically you and I right now effectively already own a slice of this. It's either really exciting or really concerning, depending on how you look at it. And let's get into it. But let's talk before we go in deeper in the room, I do want to address the elephant in the room, which is Tesla's down, right? Down to about 7%. And I think the bears always are going to come out and say, see, totally the market thinks this is terrible and no one likes this. But I do think that's really lazy analysis here, because it's not just about Tesla. The entire market is under pressure right now. This Iran situation, Trump's deployed this massive armada towards Iran a couple weeks ago. The USS Abraham Lincoln is out there. There's potential bombs. So, there are signs of de-escalation here, but, essentially as it speaks right now, Iran's top officials are going to meet with the US top officials on Friday. And oil has actually gone up on this news as well. So when you have this sort of geopolitical overhang, the market sells first and asks questions later. So Tesla being down, yeah, I mean, it could be somewhat related to this concern. SpaceX and XAI that is, but a big chunk of it is just macro uncertainty. Remember, Google came out with earnings, AMD's down 17% on earnings. So it's just capital rotating into more defensive plays, I think, right? And so as a long-term investor at, 3 to 5 year time horizon, week to week movements like this macro one in the grand scheme of things, I think it's just noise. As long as the fundamental thesis is intact, dips like this are just dips. But I get that it's uncomfortable. Obviously no one wants to see it be red for as long as it is. So let's get into why I think very smart people online do think this is actually really good news for Tesla. Friend of the show, Dan Ives, been on the show a few times. Wedbush Securities, one of the biggest Tesla bulls on Wall Street. He came out and said that there's a growing chance that Tesla actually merges with SpaceX-XAI within the next 12 to 18 months. I mean, let that sink in. A major Wall Street analyst is saying that Tesla could merge in a combined entity approximately worth $3 trillion plus. And so here's where I think it actually gets really interesting. The part that no one's talking about. It actually connects something really personal for me. As you guys know, back in January of last year, I actually tweeted at Elon about this whole 25% ownership situation. He actually replied directly to me. I'll throw up the screenshot. And he said, I'm uncomfortable growing Tesla to be a leader in AI and robotics without having approximately 25% voting control, enough to be influential, but not so much that it can't be overturned. Unless that is the case, I would prefer to build products outside of Tesla. You don't seem to understand. He literally told me to the face, well, I guess to my tweet, you don't seem to understand. And I remember reading it and thinking, okay, this guy's dead serious on 25%, not just posturing. He genuinely will build AI outside of Tesla if he doesn't get what he wants. And so threatening to build AI outside of Tesla if he didn't get 25%, and guess what? The Delaware court struck down his compensation package. You've seen XAI now with his private AI company starting to do things arguably that you could argue should have been inside of Tesla. And even executives at XAI have told their investors that the goal is to develop AI to power Tesla's Optimus. Think about that. Private company building AI for Tesla's robot. That's not ideal for Tesla shareholders. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments. But here's the thing. If Tesla reverse merges into SpaceX-XAI, let's just call it X, it could solve Elon's ownership problem. Because if Elon owns a massive chunk of SpaceX, if these entities combine, his overall ownership percentage goes up significantly to that 25% he's been wanting. And suddenly, there would be no reason to build AI outside of Tesla anymore. Everything comes under one roof. I mean, even Sawyer Merritt on Twitter posted about this, saying that Elon's ecosystem of companies is evolving into an incredibly interconnected network where advancements in one fuel progress in others. SpaceX deploying AI-focused satellites equipped with Tesla-designed chips powered by Tesla solar panels. That is the vision. That's what you tweeted. And look, I mean, this $2 billion investment, that's, of course, an indirect stake in SpaceX already. But it's a tiny piece of the most. It's a tiny piece, but it's not nothing. I will say that. The bear case of this is, number one, is it a distraction, right? SpaceX at 1.25, Tesla at 1.4 trillion. Where is Elon's focus going to be? He's the CEO of Tesla, of course, but he effectively runs all of those companies, right? He's got government stuff too. At some point, something has to give. And I think this is the age-old argument that people have made with Elon, right? Bears are worried about this and Tesla getting less attention. But number two, XAI was burning a lot of money, close to $1 billion a month, right? Electra said that SpaceX bails out XAI, blah, blah, blah. I mean, but there potentially is some truth to that framing. XAI, what is expensive, not yet profitable. SpaceX is cash rich, profitable, essentially absorbed that burn rate. So this strategic vision, is it that, or is it financial rescue? Probably a bit of both. But at the end of the day, the sum of everything is what Elon cares about, not the individual entities. He knows that these plays that he's making are important individually. But there's another question that arises, and that's around fiduciary duty. Right? Tesla invested $2 billion into this before it got absorbed. There's already lawsuits going around Elon using Tesla's balance sheet for his private companies and stuff like that. I wonder if this brings more complexity to that. Something to watch, I think. The other thing and more of the pie of the sky for now is the space data center thing, right? Look, I know, of course, Elon's a visionary, but critics will say this orbital data center faces, and basically data centers in the sky face prohibitive launch costs. Chips become obsolete. You can't upgrade hardware. There's some latency issues. Break-even analysis says it could take a long, long time to recoup these costs. So even though Elon is talking about it right now, it's something that I think, there's some debate. There's a lot of debate about this right now. So my take is this, and again, I'm just some idiot talking on YouTube. I'm just a regular guy. So take everything I take with a grain of salt. But here's how I'm thinking about this. Short term, yes, it's going to be choppy. You have the whole macro situation with the market. You got this merger news. The market doesn't underprice it in. You got Tesla coming off declining deliveries for another year. It is messy. But if I zoom out and you're investing, let's say, on a 3 to 5 year time horizon, if not more, this merger could be the most important thing to happen to the Muskonomy, if you want to call it that, the Elon Musk Corporation, since Tesla went public. Because if Elon actually gets his way and brings Tesla, SpaceX, XAI under one umbrella with him at 25% control, I think you're looking easily at one of the most valuable companies in the world in human history, right? Company that makes cars, robots, rockets, satellites, solar panels, batteries, AI, all vertically integrated together under one guy who, whatever you think about him, he has the major track record to actually building things that change the world. I think we all know this. So is it risky? Yes, absolutely. Right. But, is Elon time a real thing? Yeah. Could this blow up? Sure. But I think this is a Tesla story for the next 20 years that we will be watching and we will go, wow, this was the inception. And we're only at a measly $1.4 trillion market cap right now. Obviously say that tongue in cheek, measly, right? But the 25% ownership thing, the fact that Elon literally replied to my tweet saying, you don't seem to understand how I need this, tells me that this merger is actually not just about this pie in the sky tech thing. It's about consolidation for him and Elon building the structure he needs to go all in into AI and robotics. And without Tesla feeling like he's building value for a company that he doesn't sufficiently control. So, there's a lot of other news, but, the FSD subscription thing, for example, on February 14th, Optimus robot going into production potentially, Model S and X being discontinued to make room for Optimus. I mean, these aren't the moves, I think, of a CEO who is abandoning Tesla. These are the moves of someone who's restructuring his empire. So that's where we sit. SpaceX acquires XAI. Tesla's down in the week. It's more of a macro move than anything, I think. The bigger story that no one else is connecting is how this could potentially solve Elon's 25% ownership and bring all of his efforts into one roof. It's going to be a wild 2026. I'm here for it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Is this merger good, bad, ugly, whatever you think? Are you buying the dip? Hit subscribe on your way out. Catch you in the next one. Yash signing off. Peace out.